All right, a very welcome everyone. Today we're going to be learning the essentials of business English. Now, the idea here is that you're all preparing for management exams, right? So, you're going to be using these phrases, these expressions very often, quite often. So, I would rather that you get used to them right now so that you can even spout out a few in your interviews, in your group discussions, right? And if you come across, for example, in these AT exam they use business English quite a bit, right? So uh, plus sometimes in the CAT exam as well, when you've got comprehensions or passages, or those critical reasoning paragraphs on the topic of management or business or entrepreneurship for that matter. Who am I? I am Prankur Arora. I am going to be your instructor on your journey of learning. Right? I've been taking quite a few classes on the CAT4MBA YouTube channel. Uh, we've covered quite a lot of topics, right? So you can look me up when it comes to the playlist section, and you'll come across quite a lot of structured lessons. I'm a published author. I am a communications coach, a communications trainer. I hold advanced certifications in facilitation from Leadership Management International as well. So these are a few of my credentials. Right now, let's begin with the lesson for the day. Right, business English. Now, what I'll do is I'll write down the expression. I'll say out loud its meaning and I'll use it in a sentence for you guys. That's how we're going to be going about it. Number one, get down to business. Get down to business. Now, you'd have heard of this quite a lot in a lot of American TV shows and movies, right? And even when it comes to the boardrooms, the CXOs use this expression a lot. Why? Because to get down to business means uh, it's time to seriously start focusing on the actual task. We've whiled away a lot of time, we've wasted quite a lot of time. Now it's time to get down to business, guys. Enough fun now. All right, we've had a coffee break, we've broken the ice. Now let's get down to business. Right, so this is how you use it. Expression number two, uh, from day one. Right, from day one. Now, from day one, obviously, it's a simpler expression when it comes to the list that we're going to be building up for ourselves. From day one means since the beginning. Right? For example, we need to hire more people immediately in order to meet the deadlines. Right? We've been short-handed from day one. We've been short-handed from day one. I used another phrase here, short-handed. Short-handed means that we've lacked resources, right? So there's that. Now let's come to the third expression. Third expression today is learn the ropes. Learn the ropes. This is your third expression. Now, to learn the ropes essentially means it is used in situations where someone needs to learn the basics of how something is done. For example, when it comes to a lot of B schools, they recommend that you intern. They recommend that you intern. Why? Because they want you to learn the ropes from people who are actually in the thick of things, right? So what they mean is that they want you to learn the basics of how you conduct yourself and how you perform the job that you're specializing in, right? So there's that. Fourth, expression number four today is bring to the table. Bring to the table. I used this just yesterday. We were recruiting for the startup that I run, which is called Thought Sutra. So I was basically interviewing quite a lot of candidates for B2B sales. Now, I used this expression yesterday when I was talking to my co-founder, and I was like, you know what, we should hire this person. She's the right person for the job. She brings quite a lot of experience when it comes to B2B sales to the table. So, bring to the table means you bring something such as your skill or your experience or your resources to a job or to an activity or to a task, right? So, bring to the table is to bring your skills, your experience, your resources to the job or to the task or to the activity. So, There's that. Let's come to expression number 5. Expression number 5 is learning curve. What is it? It is learning curve. For example, uh, learning curve could be, you know what, people had written Rishabh Pant out of the test team for a long, long time. He faced quite a lot of criticism, and then he performed really well in the test series in Australia, and everybody went gaga over him. Right? If you leave aside the fickle mindedness, it is time to acknowledge that all of these young players are going through a learning curve of their own. So, learning curve is the progress that someone is making when they are trying to gain experience, when they're trying to learn something, right? So that is what we mean by learning curve. All right, let's look at a few more expressions today. Expression number 6. Expression number 6 is get off the ground. Okay, so when you look at the investment thesis when it comes to the startup ecosystem, you look at why quite a lot of startups need seed investment to get off the ground, right? So even when they are in the idea stage, when they're building up their MVP, or they're doing their proof of concept, right? They need that money to get off the ground, because it is technology heavy, right? And to be able to build that technology, you need to use quite a lot of services from Amazon, from Microsoft, from Google, and nothing comes for free. So that is why a lot of technology startups need seed investment to get off the ground. So to get off the ground is to start doing a job or a project, right? That is what it means when you say get off the ground. Start doing a job, start doing that project, get right on it. Expression number 7 is on a shoestring. You would have heard this quite a lot when you were in your college days, that all college festivals happen on a shoestring budget, right? Or a lot of amateur theater houses, they run on a shoestring budget. What is on a shoestring? On a shoestring means that they're working on a very tight budget, or they're working with very little money. That is the meaning of on a shoestring. Expression number 8, right? From the ground up. From the ground up. Right. Now, from the ground up, build means to build something, be it a company, be it a project, from zero, from scratch, from the bottom, right? From the ground up, right? So, you know, what happens is that people fail to take stock of contributions that team members make, even when they're not founders in an organization. Just that they joined in the very initial stages and they build the company from the ground up. There's a lot of glory that comes along with it, but people don't really acknowledge, because those are not the people that are sung about, right? So that is the meaning of from the ground up. Next expression for us is behind the scenes. Behind the scenes is used quite often, right? Behind the scenes. Everybody is enamored by the world of startups, but not a lot of people know about the things that go behind the scenes. You know, all the sleepless nights, all the toiling, all the rejection, all the failures, day in, day out. That is what goes on behind the scenes. So behind the scenes means work that happens away from the public view, right? Work that is not really seen by everyone, right? It's something that is not in the purview of the public. Next expression is touch base. Touch base. So to touch base means to contact someone. You know what? Uh, can you tell me when you'll be available to get on the call. I'll touch base with you perhaps prior to that, just to confirm your availability once again, right? So for example, if somebody gives me an appointment for Sunday, I can be like, okay, fine, you know what, still I'm blocking my calendar for Sunday, but I'll touch base with you on Saturday just to confirm your availability, right? So that is how we use touch base. Next expression would be the 11th hour. The 11th hour. The 11th hour is something that we've been doing from our school days, right? When we finish something at the last minute. Yeah, our parents, our teachers, they've been scolding us for ages. Don't leave anything for the 11th hour, right? You will get anxious, you'll feel a lot of stress, you'll get bogged down by the work because suddenly it'll seem insurmountable, right? So that is what we mean when we say the 11th hour, when we leave something for the very last minute. All right. So, sorry. Let me, I have a few more expressions. Let me add another slide to this. Yeah, just give me a moment, guys. I'm enjoying this. Yeah. Let's look at another expression. Expression number 12 is by the book. What is the meaning of by the book? By the book is when we say that you've got to behave strictly according to the rules. You know what? Amit is such a goody goody. He always goes by the book. By the book is when you don't bend the rules. You don't try to circumvent anything. You strictly adhere to the rules, right? 13th expression would be run around to run around in circles. To run around in circles. To run around in circles is uh, when you keep doing something without achieving any real results. You know what happens? Uh, why do people say that you've got to learn from your mistakes? You've got to learn from your failure. Why? Because otherwise you'll keep running around in circles and all your effort will amount to nothing. Right? So that is how we use run around in circles. Next expression would be to cut corners. To cut corners means you use quite a lot of shortcuts, right? You essentially try to figure out the easiest, the quickest, or the cheapest ways to do something. That is what you do when you're cutting corners. You are trying to figure out shortcuts, be it the easiest or the quickest or the cheapest way to get something done, right? Often we used it with a negative connotation. Next expression would be the bottom line. The bottom line, right? So bottom line, top line, these are expressions that you might have heard of when it comes to the world of business or entrepreneurship. So bottom line is the total profit, top line is the revenue, right? So bottom line is, sometimes you use bottom line to also say, you know what, that's the, you'd have heard, if you're a wrestling fan, you'd have heard the Rock say this, Dwayne the Rock Johnson say this is the bottom line. Sorry, Stone Cold say this. This is the bottom line because Stone Cold said so, right? So, bottom line is the most important thing, right? Because obviously, when it comes to the world of business or entrepreneurship, profit is the most important thing. Because if you don't have profit, you will not be able to sustain your business, right? So, there's that. Let's look at another expression, which is in a nutshell. So, in a nutshell means in summary or in as few words as possible, right? So, in a nutshell, what the CEO was trying to say is that we have got to start showing a little more ownership in our work, right? The CEO wants us to personify enterprising behavior, to personify industriousness, right? So, that is what in a nutshell means. Next expression for us is the big picture. The big picture. What is the meaning of the big picture? So, the big picture essentially is the overall view of something, the bigger perspective, right? When you are trying to view the situation as a whole, right? You know what, you're just nitpicking on these small mistakes, but look at the big picture, man. I got this work done even when I've been bedridden for quite a long time. There's this COVID all around us. I've been mentally unfit, I've been physically unfit, but still you're focusing only on the mistakes. What about the fact that I got the work done? Stop running behind perfection. Stop running after perfection. Look at the productivity, man. So that is a usage for the big picture. All right. Then there's another expression which is long shot. What is the meaning of long shot? Long shot is something that has a very small chance of happening. Something that has a very small chance of happening. You know what? Uh, Nah, he'll not get it done. He'll not close a client. I don't believe it. Perhaps maybe by a long shot. Right. So that is usage for this phrase, a long shot. Back to square one is another phrase that is used quite often. Back to square one. Now back to square one means to start over. A lot of startups die out, a lot of businesses, they die out because founders learn quickly, go back to square one and start doing it again. That is the kind of persistence, that is the kind of perseverance that this journey requires. Yeah. Expression number 20 would be go down the drain. Go down the drain. What is the meaning of go down the drain? So to go down the drain means when your money, your effort, your work, it is getting wasted, right? It is going to waste. So go down the drain, that is the meaning. You know what, they toiled day in day out, they toiled day in day out, but then they had a quarrel, they had a fight, right? The founding team had a fight and they closed the organization, they wrapped all the work up, and all that toil, all that effort of 2 years, it just went down the drain. Yeah. Go the extra mile is another phrase which is used quite often. Go the extra mile. So to go the extra mile means to give more effort or to do more than what's expected. In interviews, you hear quite a lot of candidates saying, you know what, sir, if you hire me right now, I'll go the extra mile. I'll prove it to you guys that I am every bit worth the penny, or that I'm worth every penny that you're going to be paying me, right? So that is what is the meaning of going the extra mile. And finally, the last expression for the day would be to call it a day. To call it a day. So to call it a day means when you decide to stop working and it's a wrap. Guys, we've been working for 5 hours now. Let's just call it a day and let's go and enjoy a pint of beer, and we'll get down to work tomorrow now. Let's call it a day. Let's wrap it all up. Chop chop. Yeah, so that is the expression to call it a day. Cool. So we've learned 22 essential big business English phrases today. I'll be back again with another list of expressions that is going to enhance our fluency, our English proficiency, and level it up. Yeah. Allow me to, though, quickly tell you about the Unacademy platform. This is the Unacademy CAT4MBA channel, obviously, right? You guys are preparing for various management exams. So on the platform, we have quite a lot of features that add to the pedagogy that an academy has devised, right? There's real-time enablement of interaction between the learners and the educator. Why? Because there's a chat box wherein you can post your questions, you can ask your doubts, you can spark off a discussion. The question answers, they are conducted in the form of live polls, right? And all of this happens while the class is still going on, right? So always you're competing for a place on the leaderboard, which is broadcast to anybody and everybody who's a part of that lesson. We regularly conduct tests and quizzes as well. The idea of these tests and quizzes is to help you develop perspective about your learning journey, to help you understand where you are versus where you want to be, because we give you detailed feedback. We give you detailed analysis on your performance, such as the time that you're spending on every question. What are your topic wise scores, what are your section wise scores. So all of this will help you do course correction if need be. uh, we run structured courses on the platform, and with one subscription you get unlimited access to it all. These are the various subscription models. You can clearly see as the time period goes up, the cost of the subscription per month goes down dramatically. And if you use my name Prankur, you will get an extra 10% off on any of the subscriptions that you go for. These are a few achievers from Unacademy. They performed really well. They made good use of the platform. These are a few batches that we're launching nowadays. Now, the idea is you can start learning from all of these educators for free. You can start learning from all of these educators for free. Figure out whether you're able to gel well with them, whether you're able to develop that kind of a chemistry with these people, right? Should you want to enroll or subscribe to their batches or not, right? That is your prerogative entirely. And yeah, there's that. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I'll see you guys again shortly. I'll be back with another video, with another strategy session, with another tip for you to enhance your English proficiency. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been Prankur from Unacademy CAT4MBA. Bye bye.